Today is the absolute best time to start a clothing brand. Not yesterday, not 5 years ago. And if anybody tells you that, they're just straight hating, so don't listen to them. Stop putting off your goals till tomorrow and get to them today. In today's video, I'm gonna be walking y'all through a simple 5-step formula that you can use to launch your clothing brand and start making sales right away. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jefu and I run a clothing brand, Co111. I'll put some pictures here. And I've been doing this clothing brand thing for over a year now, coming up on 2 years. This year, my goal is to scale my clothing brand to 5 figures. I got the game plan and I know what I want to do and how I'm going to get there. So yeah, I'll be walking you through the exact formula that I'll be using this year. And I'll be using the metaphor of building a house. For me, at least, when I hear things in a metaphor, it just makes it click a lot better. So yeah, before selling anything, before building your house, you're going to do a survey of the land. Figure out a lay of the land and how you're going to go about things. You're going to want to figure out your brand positioning, your target audience, and kind of where your brand niche sits. So for my brand, it's kind of targeted towards creatives like videographers, artists, musicians, other clothing brand owners. That's kind of the basis of my brand when I'm designing new products. I want it to relate to that core audience of people. Once you figure out like where your brand is positioned, target audience, all of that kind of stuff, you're going to want to start really trying to figure out what your name is and what your logo is. I know that it's very tempting when you first start out to just spend all of your time thinking of the name and logo. Spend a little bit of time to think of a good name and a good logo. Go around, ask people, hey, do you think this is a good name? And then have a designer create a logo for you. Especially if you're starting out, it's gonna be really hard to just create a logo from scratch. But hey, if you really want to do this thing on a budget, use Photopea. You can use like phone editors and create a logo. But I'd always say go with a solid graphic designer that you can find on Instagram or Fiverr and get some work done, and also support a creative while you're at it. Once you have thoroughly gone through step 1, and I mean thoroughly, you really want to figure out the basics for your brand before you really start putting any money down and trying to figure out things, just in case you want to pivot. You know, maybe you start a brand aimed at dog lovers, right? And then a week later, you're like, I hate dogs now. I want to start a brand based on cats. I really like cats. But if you started your brand based on dog lovers, you already got invested in $3,000 worth of inventory. Your brand that's targeted towards dog lovers is gonna fail because you have absolutely no passion towards it. Pivot and figure out what you're gonna do before you start investing all your money into product and doing all these things and trying to build your brand. You know, you gotta really start slow and then ramp it up as things go. Once you kind of get everything set up in the first step, you're gonna want to start laying down that foundation for your house. If the foundation isn't solid, the house will collapse, your brand will fail. So this is absolutely essential to get this down. Foundation is first gonna be setting up all the essentials. So that's going to be like your Shopify website, Wix website, Squarespace, I don't know, whatever website builder you're using. I personally use Shopify, and you can get started with like $1 a month or something. I'm not sponsored, but that's how I started, and it's pretty expensive after that, but hey, it helps you really get on your journey, and the apps are super good, so it's very valid to have that. I have a full video on how to make your website look clean and set up for your clothing brand, so if you're really confused on that and you want to learn more about the process, I really break it down in that video. Once you have your website set up, you want to start working on acquiring all the handles on social media. So that's going to be like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, MySpace, Bumble, okay. Not everything, but you're going to want to get all the basic platforms just in case maybe you move to those platforms in the future. You have your handle ready. Like, you don't want to be code111_1 on Twitter, and then you go on Instagram and my at is code111.us, and then I go on TikTok and my at is code111 worldwide. Like, it's going to really confuse people. You want to make sure your handle is the same across all platforms. Just be ready, you know, just in case somebody comes in and they're like, hey, this brand's popping. I'm gonna try to blackmail them with all the ads, you know? So, hey, you know, ads go away fast. So if you got a good ad down, just grab it as fast as you can. Once you get these handles, once you get your website set up, you're then gonna start working on your design language. And this is gonna heavily relate back to the first step, where you're kind of figuring out who your target audience is, like what your niche is really. Create clothes that kind of match what your audience looks like. Somebody that's into sportswear, for example, is not gonna really want super oversized, baggy fitting clothing. They're gonna want more tight fitting clothing. Maybe they're going to use more like polyester in the garment construction to show off the muscles and stuff, you know, something that's more breathable. While in streetwear, it's going to be something that's more oversized, baggy, heavyweight. So you really got to figure out what is your design language, what kind of garments do these people wear? Is it shorts, hoodies, t-shirts, jackets, you know, and then just go from there. And that's going to be basically the foundation. Then you're going to need to figure out how to design. You can do this either by learning on YouTube, Photoshop, Illustrator, Clothes 3D, all of these different clothing design programs. Personally, I only use Photoshop, but I do want to learn more programs this year. If you really don't want to spend the time to learn these programs, you can go out and hire a designer on Fiverr, Upwork, Instagram. There's a ton of people. I personally do design work. You can hit me up here. That's my ad on Instagram. I work with budget, so if you need your design ideas to come to life, I got you, and I got you at a good price. Obviously, don't lowball me for $10. You know, my time is worth money. You know, I could be recording a YouTube video instead of designing. But yeah, once you get all of these different basics down for the foundation, you're gonna want to start setting up the frame of the house. You feel me? The frame is kind of like the bones of the house. Once you get your foundation down, it's all the wood, the basics that are gonna set up for the roof and everything around the house. And this is essential, like, to kind of bringing together the basics of your brand. So the framing is gonna involve your first collection / first products that you're going to be working on, and you can kind of just go from your design language that we discussed earlier and build off of that. So you can be like, okay, I'm running a streetwear collection, I want to make like a hoodie, some socks, and some sweatpants, and you can kind of go from there and design different pieces that fit together. So I definitely recommend spending a good amount of time in this framing stage, just so you can kind of get the hang of the products that you want to release. In the beginning, it might not be super cohesive, like the things that you're creating, but as time progresses, you'll start to see your design language start to come out. Your interests and who you are as a person will start shining through the products, and that's when people are going to really resonate with the things that you create, because they're like, wow, this actually looks like something that somebody took time to create and was really thought out. That's definitely something I'm trying to do more with my brand. I'm trying to take more time with things and not rush drops, and just really create pieces that I feel like resonate with me, and therefore will hopefully resonate with other people. Once your ideas are fully fleshed out, maybe you say you got like 10 different ideas. Starting out, if you want to be on a budget, just get 1 or 2 samples, you know, find some factories. I have a full video on how to find manufacturers. I'm always here to help too, so if you got questions, just let me know. But yeah, you're gonna want to start sampling these products, figuring out kind of like, okay, like which products am I messing with and which products do I hate. Sometimes you're gonna sample something, it sounds really good in your head, and then you get the product and you're like, that's horrible. That was me when I tried making some women's like baby tees. I was like, this is gonna be fire. I get the design, bruh. That used to look like absolute garbage. Maybe I'll get back to women's wear at some point, but for now I'm like, yeah, I sampled it, I tried it, it didn't go out great. But you don't know until you know. You feel me? You don't know until you know. So you gotta just try, see what works and what doesn't. Depending on the sample that you get, the price will vary greatly. I just want to kind of throw that in there because I get this question on Instagram and in my comments a lot. How much should a t-shirt sample cost? How much should a hoodie sample cost? Etc, etc. I always recommend asking like 5 to 10 manufacturers or submitting an RFQ to just kind of figure out what is the average price that the market is kind of handing out. And it's going to vary depending on the style of garment. So obviously a tapestry hoodie is going to cost 50,000 times more than a t-shirt with DTG. So just think about the different things and don't be surprised when something costs like $50 for a t-shirt. Like, it's not gonna cost retail. Like, they gotta create that from scratch. Once you get all of your framing set up, I kind of got on a tangent there, you're gonna want to start installing your major systems. So that's gonna be like your electrical, your plumbing, your HVAC, and in the case of a clothing brand, it's the systems that generate attention and therefore cash flow. You feel me? The more attention, the more potential you have for income. Let me say that again. The more attention you have, the more potential for income. Okay, whether that's paid attention, like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, or organic traffic, YouTube, TikTok, Insta, Facebook, MySpace, Snapchat, whatever you're using, you know. A lot of ways to get attention, paid or free. You just gotta put in different levels of work depending on which method you use. Pretty much what you're gonna wanna do is start testing out those samples that you made in a previous step of framing your house, right? But you're gonna be posting on TikTok, Instagram, basically saying like, hey, do you mess with this product? Show off the details, show off the process, show off the journey of you building your brand too. Like, people will be interested in that. Really kind of go in depth in everything about your product. And while doing this, you can kind of build an audience and a following. And this is super important because, you know, the more people that look at your product, that look at the things that you're creating, the more potential you have to build your email list and the more potential you have to build your SMS list. I've been lacking on the SMS list, I can't lie, but hey, next video, I'll be setting up my SMS list and I'll be going over the whole process with y'all. 2024, we really building that SMS list, getting that money, you know, running things up. You gotta unleash your creative potential and really get out there and put in the work. Once you have started putting out the content and you kind of have figured out which products work and which products don't, because some products will just straight flop and people will hate them. You'll know because people will tell you in your comments that the product's trash. People are pretty honest, especially on TikTok. But yeah, you're gonna get to step 5, which is the interior, exterior of the house. So like putting in the drywall, the flooring, the stucco, the siding, the roof, whatever, you know. This is the final steps in building the house. So yeah, you can either do pre-made or pre-order when your drop comes around. And I have a full video breaking down which method I prefer, as well as a little bonus method. The different methods have different positives and negatives. Pre-made is going to be more expensive, but you have products in hand. And then pre-order is going to be cheaper, but the wait time is going to be probably like 8 weeks. So you just got to let your customers know when that happens. Once you figure out the method, get a quality photo shoot. Get some nice on-body shots, some nice product photos. So if you want to rent a studio that's fire, you know, find some nice cement. You can do most things that cost money for free if you find a way. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to get Photoshop if you find a way in the bay. You feel me? Basically, go out, show the lifestyle of the brand on body, show what the people that wear your brand do, you know? So people that are your target audience can really relate to the content that you're putting out. And when they click that product, they're like, yeah, you know, I'm like that guy. I can wear a shirt like that, you know? You want people to look at your photos and relate. You got some crazy buttons or something, some crazy embroidery, show that off. Show the customers like, hey, this is what you're getting when you're buying my product. Somebody like me who's specifically interested in the different qualities of a product sees that, they'll want to buy it. If you have something that has some crazy 12 color screen print on it or some embroidery, don't be afraid to put it on there in the details, you know? Once you get everything lined up, drop that product. If sales don't match up with how you envision in your head, because let's be real, when you first start a brand, a business, anything in this entrepreneur space or world, your vision of reality is warped. You think your brand is going to be supreme instantly. But it's not. It's not gonna be supreme instantly. You gotta put in the time and you gotta put in the work to get where you wanna be. When something goes wrong, note it down and see what you can do next drop. And the same thing applies for when things go right. This drop did crazy. What did I do to make this drop go crazy? Write it down and then use those methods next drop. You know a lot of the answers. You just have to think about it. And then after your drop, you don't want to just stop marketing. Like so many people, they drop a t-shirt, they drop a hoodie, whatever, and then they stop marketing. It's like that Tyler the Creator quote, you know, people drop music and then after they drop the album, right, they stop promoting it.
And you mean to tell me that you're gonna be passive with your own and just put it on your story once? Are you fucking crazy, bro? I'm still promoting my album that came out in June. Let motherfuckers know. Tell people.
You need to keep promoting that drop as long as possible so that it can sell out. Most drops do not sell out right away. They take time. I've been selling these hoodies for over a year now, since when my brand started, like June of 2022. And I'm almost sold out now. So it just takes time and it takes steps to get to where you want. Just have patience and learn from your mistakes. And a little bonus tip, right? Find IRL events. And this is a great way to move products, make connections like with other brand owners, and then also build your audience. You can be at this event and somebody can maybe buy your clothes that would have never seen it before. And most of the people that go to these events and markets are there to buy. And all you gotta do is pay $50, $100 to get a vendor space, and you can actually get out there and make connections with people, you know? So it's a really good way to grow your brand, especially when starting out. Don't be afraid to get in the streets. I know you want to sit at your home, in your mom's basement, wherever you're staying, sit there and grow your brand from TikTok. But I can tell you from personal experience, you get way more sales IRL when you're starting a brand, because people can see the product, feel the product, and actually connect with you as a person. That's the method, you feel? So yeah, after following this 5-step method, you should be on the way to building the brand that you want. Just to recap, you're gonna start by surveying the land and figuring out who your targeted audience is, right? Second, you'll lay the foundation by setting up the basics like your website, your socials, and discovering your design language. You're gonna install your major system, your plumbing, your HVAC, your electrical, that generate attention and therefore cash flow. And lastly, you'll finish building the house and drop that product you've been working so hard on, and you can reap the rewards. I hope y'all found value in this video. I know it's a little bit longer and more in depth than the videos that I usually create. I really felt like this is a good way to start the new year. I really appreciate y'all. We are almost to 750 subs, and then after that we hitting 1K. We on that road to 1K. So yeah, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You can check out my Gumroad down below with my size charts. But yeah, I love y'all, appreciate y'all so much, and have a great one. Yeah.